morning. This is Latrell, and we are on day 4 of the Champs at Word Problems Challenge. Thank you for hopping on. I am going to get some things checked, and I'll be right back. So, today the theme is on solving, like we're actually solving today. Um, the theme is solving with strategy and purpose. Solving with strategy and purpose. Well, the strategy is basically what we've been building up to this whole time. We already learned how to translate, or was introduced to how to translate um, verbal expressions to algebraic expressions and vice versa. We worked on really understanding what's going on in the problem, just like rewriting it in our own words, putting, uh, living it out, making us feel like it's our problem that we have to solve for our own life. So it is really important that we, know all the details. And then that was day 2. And yesterday we were able to go on a scavenger hunt in the problem and actually get and find important information. And remember, we had 4 important pieces. We checked that out. We had to find numbers, and it's not just the value of the number, but what does the number actually represent in the problem. We had to find unknowns or variables. So that's basically what the question is asking us, like, what is this, how do you find that, what is the difference, and things like that. How much is she going to pay, um, those type of things. That's an unknown thing, so that's what we have to find out. Operations, remember the verbal phrases and words can be operations that translate into algebraic expressions. So they're like operations in disguise. And then we have separate parts. So the separate parts are the different things we have to solve. So sometimes we're getting one answer, but we have to take several steps and do several calculations in order to get that one answer, because maybe we have to put those 2 separate parts together in order to get an operation. Maybe we got to add them, subtract them, do something, analyze them some way. So those are the 4 components that we learned yesterday in day 3. And today is day 4. We're going to begin solving. So one second, let me just get let me, because I erased all of my notes from this copy of the scavenger hunt. So I'm just going to get my notes actually from yesterday. Here we are. Share. Let me do that too. Sharing my group. Age. Make the other. And so I can. Today's day 4. Hopefully it did. Here. All right, Miss on and hello everyone. So, oh, it's loading. Do that too. Oops. Okay. All right. So these are the notes we took yesterday on our question regarding Andre and his decrease in gasoline and that he was happy about. So we took down some notes. We were able to figure out the details, the four components, which are going to help us today to actually solve his problem. So let's read it again one more time. These are the notes that I took with the highlights and stuff. We were highlighting the verbal expressions that translate to algebraic expressions. So now dropped is a negative word. So we can use like subtraction if we needed to in this situation, and we are using subtraction. So good morning, Miss Letitia. Thank you for jumping on. So for this problem, the question reads again: gas prices dropped, and Andre is so happy with the new amount of money he needs to fill up his 13-gallon gas tank. If he used to spend $33 to fill his tank from empty, and now he's spending $27 to fill up his tank from empty, how much did gas cost per gallon before and now? How much did gas decrease per gallon by? Okay. So we read this, we broke it down, I wrote it again in my own words, and we noted important parts to the question that we need in order to solve the problem. So the numbers are we found three numbers. We found that there are 13 gallons that his tank can hold. Let me zoom in to okay, cool. So we found that there are 13 gallons that his tank can hold. He spent $33 before to fill his gas tank, and he spends $27 now to fill his gas tank. Um, Now we can move to unknowns. We want to know the cost per gallon when Andre spent $33 to fill his tank. So we know he spent an overall amount of $33, but how much was it per gallon? And also the cost per gallon when Andre spent $27 to fill his tank. So these are two different times of spending money in two different amounts. How much do you spend per gallon paying these two different amounts? So before and then, before and now, I mean. That's what the question asks. How much did gas cost per gallon before and now? So those are two unknowns, like I said, embedded in the question. And then the last unknown is how much less did he spend per gallon? And that matches the question, how much did gas decrease per gallon by? Okay, so those are three unknowns. Now we're going to operations. We said division. And the note I wrote for the reason for having using division or needing division is I have to divide the total amounts Andre spends to fill his tank by the amount of gallons his tank can hold when it's full, which will give me the cost per gallon. So I got the big old tank, and I drew a picture of that. Here it is. On the first day, on day 2. Here's the tank. That's the tank. The lines represent the gallons that it can hold, and it's not accurate because I didn't know how many gallons his tank could hold at that time because the questions had no numbers in them. But we didn't need numbers. All we needed to know was to figure out how to um, interpret what was going on in the question. So um, each of the each of the gallons have a specific cost And you find that by dividing the total amount you pay per gallon for to fill the gallon by the amount of gallons in the tank. Now I need, B says I need subtraction because I have to subtract the cost per gallon he spends now from the cost per gallon he used to spend. And that's the um, before and now total amounts broken down to gallons, amounts per gallon, then subtracting. Um, okay, and then now we are looking at four separate parts. So my first separate part is I have to find the cost per gallon when Andre spends $33 to fill his tank. I have to find the cost per gallon when Andre spends $27 to fill his tank. And C says I have to find out how much the cost per gallon decreased by. Okay, so these repeat themselves a little bit, and that's okay because um, you need to be able to see how they come together and how they're separate also so that you can solve the problem. Hello, Akil. Thanks for jumping on. So let us now do some calculations. Going to go to day 4 and read what we need to include in our calculations, what we need to keep in mind. So while solving, keep these tips in mind. We want to accurately translate our verbal expressions to algebraic expressions or equations. And we can refer to our pre-algebraic guide, which is this right here. So we want to use this as a tool to translate. It's like having a translator. What else we need to do? Wrong day. We need to label all values, numbers, with units and a short description of what they represent. So that needs to take place in the solving notes. We want to circle or box our answers so that they stand out, so that it doesn't get lost in all the work. And then we want to double check to make sure we've actually answered all the questions in the problem. Okay? I want to make sure that we actually answered the question. So let's get started. All right. And a lot of this has been taken care of when we did the when we did yesterday's activity, which is find the four components. We accurately translated already, so we know what operations to use, and now we need to just work on being neat and organized in our solving process. Okay, I want to write on the screen. And use notes to. Oh, it's not working. Oh, here we go. Do this one. All right. I'll just use something else. I have there, and it looks like my internet. Oh, there it is. Okay. Okay. So we want to talking about Andre's gas and what he paid before, what he paid now. So is what he paid before. Like we said, we want to find out how much it is per gallon. So $33 he paid before. Um, gallons in the tank. 13, not in the tank, but 13 gallons um, are is what the tank can hold. Set the tank. That means. Okay, so um, we paid $33. The tank is 13 gallons. We need to use division. So we an equation 33 divided by 13. And I already did these calculations and got $2.04. I divided $33 by 13 gallons. That looks like grams. $54 per gallon. That's the first calculation. That is the first. This is how much he spent per gallon before. Now we want to know how much he spent per gallon now when he paid $27. So $27 um, paid now, and 13. Also, we want to make sure or sell that out. And we got to do the same thing again. We got to do 27 by 13. $27 divided by 13 gallons. That's going to give us in 8 cents. Hmm. And this is he pays. Okay. So we answered the first question. We want to know how much he paid then per gallon and how much he pays now per gallon. So he was paying $2.54 per gallon. That's what you saw on the um, gas station sign, 2.50 per gallon. And then gas prices went down, and he's now paying $2.08 per gallon. That's what he saw. That's what he saw like a week later, or however much time passed before he started paying um, less money. Okay, so that's half the question. And the second part of the question, we can call this B. This next C is what's the difference? C says, let's look back. C says, or the last part of the question says, how much did it decrease by per gallon? Or, oh, here's a copy. My notes. What we have to do. Oh, we have to find C. We have to find out how much the cost per gallon decreased by. So always go back to the question and make sure you are answering all of or satisfying all of the hello Kevin, how are you? So we're going to day 4. Oh no, we're not. I got too many tabs open. Okay. So C, we want to find the difference between these two numbers. We found how much it was per gallon. We want to find the difference. How much did it decrease by? So we can do that using subtraction, which is what we pointed out in our operation section of finding the components. So $2 per gallon cent, and they and what does that mean again? That number? What did we just do? We found the difference between how much it used to cost and how much it costs now. So 46 cents costs per gallon. And it's really important to know, like I was saying before, it's really important to know what the numbers mean, because you don't want to just say, "Oh, I got 46 cents." But is that the answer? Like, what if there was another step after this? You didn't realize that there was another step, and that you actually didn't get the answer, that you have to take another step in order to finally get the answer. So it's good to know what the definition of each number is that you're dealing with, so that you can know if you actually got the answer or not. So 46 cents is the difference in cost per gallon, and that's what we wanted to know. What's the difference? And it mean the same thing. Okay, so that's the answer. Nice. It decreased 46 cents. That's a lot. And I'm sure he was very happy. Okay, so if you have any questions, let me know. If you need to sign up for the challenge, go ahead and use the link in the description of my video so that you can start getting the activities which are in the emails, and they also possess the worksheets that I am using in these videos. Um, what else did I want to say? This makes sense to you, let me know. If it does not, you can definitely let me know as well. And tomorrow's going to be really exciting. Um, I'm glad that I was able to go through these solving steps with you. There are 5 more questions on the worksheet that you can use the days that we went over to do the same thing that we did in this problem. And if you have any questions while you're doing those, you can let me know as well. And if you need a video tutorial on those problems, I'll do it. So tomorrow we're actually going to be making our own word problems. So look out for that email if you have signed up already. If you are going to sign up, you'll get that email tomorrow too, because I'm going to send you all the emails up until now, today, so that you can be ready for tomorrow. All right. Everybody have a great day, and thanks for watching and sharing.